You know, I was kind of just sitting around trying to figure out what games I could make a video on because I just got copyright strike like 8 times by the Pokemon company. So that's out of the window, but now I have a way better idea. Today, I'm talking about the immortality of Garry's Mod and how it's been living in the shadows of internet culture for the last 20 years. Now, for a short explanation on what Gmod is, if you don't already know, at its core, it's just a physics sandbox game where people use a lot of custom-made add-ons, as well as add-ons from other source-based games such as CSGO or Half-Life, which is where this game actually originated. It was originally a mod itself for Half-Life 2. Though Gmod being a pretty popular game, there is another part to the story. Like I said before, it's kind of been living in the shadows of most people. And that's because of its more popular younger brother, Minecraft. Now, I don't need to explain what Minecraft is, I'm sure, and I really don't need to for this video, but the main point I'm going to make is that it's way more popular and is also pretty similar in being an open world sandbox game. But even though I'm not talking about Minecraft and explaining what it is, because I'm sure everyone knows of it, I do have to talk about its success and how it's actually relevant to Gmod's story. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is Minecraft's accessibility. I have about 600 hours on Gmod, but I probably have well over 10,000 hours on Minecraft considering I've been playing in it consistently for 12 years. And there's one thing that's very obvious. Minecraft is much easier to get into. Now, Minecraft has 2 main modes. One being creative mode, where you can just create freely, do whatever you want. And then, of course, survival mode, where you're fighting to survive, collecting resources, and trying to just beat the game, or do whatever else that it is that you want to do. Gmod, on the other hand, is quite a bit more complicated. And this is because of simple things like just how you use the menu and navigate the menus themselves, to understanding how to use like the tool gun interface, the spawn menus, all the like extra precision controls, and whatever else. It didn't take me personally that long to get used to it, but I could really understand how some new people, you know, just would absolutely hate this in general. But of course, simplicity isn't the only factor in Minecraft's success over Gmod, one of those other factors being the marketing surrounding both games. Even before Minecraft was backed by Microsoft, it was pretty difficult to escape Minecraft entirely, even out in public. However, on the other hand, Garry's Mod had pretty much next to no advertising. Due to having more humble beginnings and way less funding at the time, Gmod really never had to use advertisements because it was mainly just spread by the community and through word of mouth. Even though it wasn't really caught by the public's eye, it still managed to find its way into internet culture. Now, this is where things really start to get interesting. Now, Gmod has a lot of big advantages over Minecraft when it comes to memeability, which is a word I quite literally just made up on that take. Now, like I said before, Gmod is a physics sandbox, and with the freedom of using semi-realistic physics, players are allowed to experiment with ragdoll physics, face posing, as well as like creating stupid machines, setting things on fire, and it just goes on and on and on. While Minecraft also has a lot of freedom, it doesn't have the realism, and it's also restricted by its blocky format. So way before Minecraft got its actual popularity, and even years before it officially released, we had memes about Gmod already. Now, here's where things start to get a little bit weird. Including myself, I'm sure a lot of you grew up with internet and meme culture. Though something I didn't realize until much later, and when I actually started playing Garry's Mod, was that it was kind of always around. Back on the early days of YouTube, I was watching, you know, Sky Does Minecraft and whoever else played Minecraft a lot. I saw so many memes of Garry's Mod before I even knew what it was. And this may show my age, but mainly through iFunny and Google+. Some of you might actually have no idea what Google+ is. It's kind of like Reddit, but it doesn't exist anymore, so that actually doesn't really matter. Anyway, it wasn't until I actually saw my first Garry's Mod video, which I believe was probably Venturian Tale, because I did end up growing up watching them a lot. It's not really until you start watching or playing the game until you realize how prevalent it actually is in internet culture in general. Now, an early example and my personal favorite example of this is SMG4. Now, this is someone I subscribed to pretty much a decade ago. Now, the reason this is relevant is because I actually subscribed to Venturian Tale a year before this, or even before that, because I actually made this YouTube account, I think, on this exact day, and I did have one before this, so we could say I probably subscribed in like 2014 to 2013. Now, for the pretty long time that I watched SMG4, I never actually realized they were playing the same game. Now, one of the reasons I even made this video, besides myself becoming aware of like how popular it actually was because I always see people on TikTok have no idea what the game is. And I saw these comments mostly under Nextbot posts, and it really just made me realize, wow, these people are in the exact same scenario as me just a decade later. So I want to take a look at the biggest Gmod memes that were going on while Minecraft was the one in the public eye. But for this segment, we're going to do a reverse chronological order and start with today. Of course, we must mention Skibidi Toilet. Now, to be honest, I actually had to do a little bit of research into this one because I really only have ever seen the head in the toilet. And to be honest, that's kind of all it is, I feel like. I mean, I guess besides the entire mega series that the fuck Boom has built around it, but I'm not watching all that. So let's move on. I'd say the thing before that would have to be Nextbots. Now, Nextbots are practically just PNGs that chase you and scare you. You've probably seen these videos, and I'm sure you're familiar with Unga Bunga. Admittedly, I am actually a fan of these. It's not the coolest or funniest thing on the planet, but I mean, it looks pretty cool out of context, I guess. These have actually existed for a long time, but I would say it was definitely most popular in 2022. In fact, they got so insanely popular that there's literally just Nextbot chasing games on the Play Store, which is insane to me. But if we jump back a couple of more years, we get to where Gmod is a little different when it comes to memes. There was a time where Gmod memes were really mainly based on just having characters from other memes in the game. Things like Sanic, Ugandan Knuckles, Thomas, all of these other things. But at the start of this era is something very important, and that would be the original idea of Machinima in general. The definition of Machinima is the use of real-time computer graphic engines to create a cinematic production. So for the most part, meaning using video games to create cinema. This idea was crucial for Gmod. Gmod's aesthetic and atmosphere gave it a very distinct look. A look that was just familiar enough to always catch your eye. Now, the Source engine does contribute heavily to this aesthetic, but I think the maps also play a huge role in these videos. I think these videos could be great in general, but we really have to look at their surroundings. The vibe of these maps is just kind of intriguing, I guess. For the most part, they're insanely peaceful. But then you look into the foreground where the actual video or whatever is happening, and it's literally just chaos every time. In my personal opinion, these maps are flawless. Whether you're just messing around in the game, you're playing a server, whatever the case may be, I think these maps are absolutely genius. They're very simplistic, but there are a little bit of secrets here and there, and I just think that was always cool. And if you wanted to make cool videos in-game or in SFM, which we're about to talk about a little bit, you had a very nice map to work with. Now, besides using Machinima, which is using in-game things, another thing that helps out a lot is SFM. Now, Source Filmmaker is what's used to film Skibidi Toilet and a ton of other things. If you've never heard of it, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a software tool created by Valve, and its entire purpose is to use the Source game engine, which runs Team Fortress, Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, Gmod, Counter-Strike, to create animations. Now, SFM is so cool because you can create so much absurdity in these videos. You can create in-game scenarios, port them to SFM, and then do whatever you want with each character, which gives people the ability to create absolutely monstrous animations. This helped a lot when random and loud were pretty much the standard for anything funny. So now with all this information, we can take a quick step backwards and really look at all of it. First, let's look at it from the perspective of people who are not familiar with SFM or Gmod or Source in general, which nowadays is probably a ton of kids. This formula means that someone who's been around for a long time and is familiar with using Source Filmmaker and Garry's mod can create viral memes or videos based on things that the younger audience likes, which is always going to be the main audience for pretty much anything on the internet. Now, if you're like me and you've been around for a long time, for us, I feel like it's just kind of interesting to see that this whole SFM and Gmod Source thing is alive in general still. I mean, when Skibidi Toilet first blew up, it literally felt like I was having a heart attack. Now, I was actually about to end this video, but there's one thing I did forget to mention, and that are the game modes. This isn't as relevant to my main point, but it's still kind of interesting to see. Now, there are a few main game modes in multiplayer Garry's mod, being Dark RP, Trouble in Terrorist Town, and Prop Hunt. Now, TTT and Prop Hunt were not created in Gmod, however, Gmod definitely popularized both of them. Though if I had to rank them in terms of importance to Gmod's popularity, I'd put TTT at the bottom, Prop Hunt in the middle, and Dark RP at the top. Now, most games kind of have a built-in system or mods that would just stop people from being completely outlandish. Gmod doesn't have any automatic in-game things to stop you from saying whatever you want. Most servers are really just ran by a staff team. I would know because I was actually a senior moderator on Exhibition RP back in the day. Now, the real difference between this and pretty much any other game is that everybody was just straight up weirdos. Well, I won't say everybody, but I'm not gonna lie, 99% of people. I was on this server during the time where being edgy was cool. So, quote unquote, dark humor was really popular. When part of the roleplay is people acting like Hitler or whatever, you can imagine how annoying and crazy it gets. People constantly mic spamming, using TVs and boomboxes to play the most obnoxious, loud sounds you can hear from across the map. At the time, the whole concept was just based on bigotry. But I'm not going to sit here and act innocent. I was also out there wilding, so it is what it is. But from this birthed a lot of videos of kids just absolutely just saying crazy things, doing crazy things. Pretty much anything that was happening in these servers was getting uploaded, I'm not gonna lie. Also, videos going on these servers and trolling was a pretty big thing, especially I think with Jameski and Swagger. I don't know if I have the screenshot, but I wasn't in the server and did talk to them one time, and I can't remember if I had that screenshot, but I'm gonna look for it. I mean, that's kind of it for this video. This was just a fun little video I decided to make for no reason. I just wanted to get something out because my other video could not go up, so hey, it is what it is. Leave a like, comment down below if you got this far into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.